What's the price you're willing to pay for the body that you want? This is often said recently a lot, and they use some pretty good analogies, but there's no real context behind that. And the purpose of a lot of coaches and nutritionists and mentors trying to say this to the public is because it does have some truth to it, but there's no continuing context of the overall outcome for the future of anybody to understand. And a lot of people drive themselves crazy trying to chase results that are just not realistic for the person that's not a gym rat, that's not a professional athlete, that's not a paid influencer, to look and eat perfect all the time, year round. And a lot of these decent coaches are using the analogy of what's the price that you want to pay, but there's no long-term context to it. So the analogy that they use is you walk into the mall, you walk into a department store, and you see a great shirt or a hoodie or a jacket that you like, but it might cost you $2,000, $3,000. It looks great. You know you're going to get some head turns. You know you're going to look good in a couple of photos, get some compliments. You're going to feel proud of wearing it. But to you, it's not worth spending $3,000 on that jacket when you can get the same one for $100. Or if you're trying to get a nice, Gucci or Louis Vuitton hoodie, it's going to cost you $3,000. You can get the same cotton, same type of hoodie for $50. And you say to yourself, that's not worth it. I can use that money to put it into other things that are going to bring me happiness right now, or put it into something more worthy. And the same thing goes when it comes to your body composition goal. For you to be able to accomplish a certain result, when people say to me, Coach, I want visible abs, it's like, okay, you can have that, but you need to get a certain amount of steps and cardio in. You need to be tracking your macros and your calories. You need to put on some decent lean muscle tissue, so you're going to have to do some resistance training. And at the end of that, you're going to be able to have your result. And these coaches using the analogy of clothing is not correct, or products, because they don't have a future investment into them. So that's why I'm sitting out here on one of the balconies at our house overlooking our backyard. And I'm going to use the example of these trees so that you can make a good decision when it comes to your body composition. All right. And where you want to put yourself into mentally and emotionally to not batter yourself that you don't look like some influencer or professional athlete or somebody who's using drugs and fat burners to look the way they do because they're getting paid for it. And you have other things in your life that are your priorities just as much as your health and your physique is. Your career, your family, your relationships, your travel, your hobbies, assets, investments, academics, spirituality, and all those things are important to you. So as you see behind me, we have palm trees in our yard. We have 10 palm trees in the front and in the back. Date trees, palm trees, same thing, except these ones have a different fruit. Each one of these trees costs 50 grand. So 10 date trees cost 500 grand. And you would think to yourself, great, it's a good investment. It brings you a lot of shade. It's beautiful for the property. It puts shade over the pool. It puts shade over the dogs. It gives us a nice view when we're sitting in the living room, the dining room, in the kitchen to be able to see this. You're proud of it, blah, blah, blah. But it's not the first cost, like the shirt, like the hoodie that we used as an analogy in the store. It costs you 500 grand to purchase them. Then you have to plant them. Then they need watering every single week, and that costs money. That's a lot of water for 10 trees. They need pruning. They need to be collected. So I have to pay gardeners that come on a daily basis because they bring out dates. I have to go out there every single day during the blooming season to make sure that they're not on the ground, because one of our dogs, my Staffy, loves eating dates, and she puts on a lot of weight because that's a lot of sugar. Anything that falls down from the birds or the wind shaking the nets, she's going to scoop up and she's going to eat. And that's going to cause me other problems. So to have this view, for us to have these in the yard, it's not just what you have to pay down to put them in the yard. It's what you have to pay in time and investment afterwards to keep them. And that's a better analogy than a shirt. Because the shirt, you buy it, whatever, you do the laundry, you iron it, and that's about it. Other investments, though, take work. They take commitment. They take some sort of a responsibility afterwards. And that's how you need to look at your health. That's how you need to look at your body composition when you make these decisions. It's the same thing with careers. It's the same thing with assets. It's the same thing with relationships. They take a continuing effort. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't achieve something. When you start something, you get better at it. You become more efficient at it, and it becomes easier. When somebody drops their calories and raises their output to be able to achieve a certain goal, after they hit their maintenance, it's a lot easier if they can keep a good routine for them to keep a great looking physique. They can do less cardio and have more calories because their metabolism and their body composition has changed. So it doesn't mean that you can't ever have it. The importance of this reel that I'm making here, of this statement, of this video, is that too many people invest too much emotion and put themselves down and compare themselves to others with results that are far realistic from them, for where they are at that moment. Okay, if you've had on and off trouble with your nutrition and your mindset and being committed to exercise and cardio and eating well, staying away from drinking too much, smoking too much, eating too much of the fun foods, the junk foods, the last thing you need to be worried about is having visible abs. The most important thing is that you find a sustained routine that's fun, that's enjoyable, that's not too stressful for you. Okay. Some people want to go to the best gym to find the best coach and waste an hour and a half a day in traffic just to get to the session, and then spend all their money trying to pay for that coach. And then they can't do their laundry. They can't do their cooking. They have no social life. They're trying to do 2 classes a day. Other people, they go to gyms, they do a class in the morning, a class at night, and they're exhausted. They've got a poor performance when it comes to their work. They have a poor performance when it comes to their parenting or to their relationship. And it starts putting their partner off. Their partner's like, okay, that's cool. You want to get fit. You want to build a certain physique or get rid of some stubborn body fat. But if it means that you're miserable and exhausted all the time because you're on low calories and doing 10, 15,000 steps every single day plus a class, this sucks for me. Like, what if you just pulled it back a little bit and it took you 18 months to get the results you want instead of you trying to get it in 4 months? So just try to get the right information down and give yourself a little bit of some breathing room, and give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back for trying to invest into your time and into your health, and let yourself get into a good routine. And from there, once you have consistency after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, you've had a significant change in your physique with losing some body fat, putting on some muscle. You've become efficient. So when your routines change, your schedule changes, and you can't make it to your gym or to your class, you do a circuit or a HIIT training session at home on your own. And you always try and find ways to be able to stay active. You take the stairs, you park further away. If you can't get your regular cardio in, you try to do something else. This is you building something that's sustainable, that's long-term, like what I have to do, what my wife has to do to pay for these trees. Okay, it wasn't a one-time decision. These are things when you have a house or a relationship or a family or parents out there that decide to have children. These are things that are long-term. You have to make adjustments and changes for your whole life and to your identity. And then you can become very successful in whatever that endeavor is. And you can have your cake and eat it too. Meaning that you can have your results and still enjoy life without being a miserable fuck or being starving or being exhausted. It just takes steps and it takes time to get there. So I hope this can bring you guys some context, because a lot of people are saying that they're reverberating the same thing back to me when I speak to them in consultations or newer clients that I've only had for a couple of months on board, and they are parroting what these influencers and coaches are saying, but they don't understand the context behind it. So they're like, oh, I'm willing to pay that price for right now, coach, to get there by summertime. And I'm like, but what do you want to do after that? What's the point of you getting to there if you're going to just throw it all in the bag? Why do you want to pay me for 4 months to help you torture yourself to get a result at the end and take a picture? And then all you're going to do is eat junk food and not exercise, not train, drink alcohol, and lose all those results. You're probably going to feel worse afterwards because people are going to think that you're a quitter, and you're going to miss getting the compliments at work or in your social life. And it's not going to be good for your mindset. I don't want to participate in that. Okay. Your money's not worth it to me for me to invest my time and effort and be part of that journey, because it's a negative one. So I'm trying to give people a real perspective of real life when it comes to health and nutrition. Everything is achievable, but there's certain levels to it. And you have to really be honest with yourself of where you are and what price you're willing to pay to get there. Okay. I don't post videos and pictures of me when I was a competitive athlete and I had 40 pounds of muscle bigger and I was 10% less body fat than I am right now year round, and tell people, hey, if you train at home like I do 4 times a week, you can look like this. It's impossible. It's a lie. I had to do a lot to do that. And I had to sacrifice a lot. There was a big price I had to pay. It paid me back with my mindset, with my mentality, with my discipline, with my business, with my anecdotal experience and what I got. But I did that maturely. I played the long game. I knew what I was doing. I knew when I was going to get out. I knew what my limits were with pushing with my body. I knew what I had to do with my business and my academics to make sure that I would end up in the position that I am right now, 15 years later, before I made that decision. And that's what I want to gift people there. I don't want people to waste their time, waste their money, and more importantly, your emotions. Because, you know, spending money on programs or coaches or memberships and not participating and not doing it, whatever. That's not threatening to your life. But when you become your own worst enemy and torture yourself because of what you see on the fucking screen in front of you all day long, that's bad. That's the worst habit. You can't escape your phone. Everybody needs that. And it's very difficult for people to escape social media. A lot of people are on there for work or to keep up with family abroad and to check on products and travel and all this stuff. And there's too much wrong information out there or the wrong context. And that's what I want to gift you guys. Take care of yourselves.